As the stress of his job keeps increasing, a man who works as a specialist in auto recalls has begun to feel bored with his routine life. He spends his free time looking through furniture catalogs and purchasing anything that catches his eye, but he isn't satisfied with his purchases. In addition to the stress at work, he frequently travels outside of the city because of his job, so he also has to deal with jet lag. He has been unable to sleep for the past 6 months due to the ongoing pressure. According to his doctor, nobody has ever passed away from insomnia, so he shouldn't worry too much. The man claims that narcolepsy, which he also has, causes him to occasionally wake up in strange places with no memory of how he got there. He requests medication from the doctor, but the doctor responds that he only requires natural sleep. When the man informs the doctor that he is in pain, the doctor dismisses his worries and advises him to go to a testicular cancer support group so he can observe people who are truly suffering. The man makes the decision to attend a meeting one day in order to hear the attendees' heartbreaking stories. Bob, a former bodybuilder who had his testicles removed due to a disease that causes him to produce too much testosterone, enters the room toward the end of the session. Bob tells him about his steroid use, which resulted in his divorce and bankruptcy. As he starts to open up to him, the insomniac receives a hug from Bob, who encourages him to cry. The man chooses to let his emotions run wild and sob uncontrollably as Bob holds him on his chest. The man continued to attend various support groups for people with severe illnesses despite being in excellent health because he had since started getting good nighttime sleep. Every time he leaves a session, the man feels renewed and at peace. However, Marla Singer, a woman who has been attending the same support groups, soon disturbs the man's peace. He had trouble falling asleep once more because he was bothered by Marla's attendance at the same meetings as him. The man confronts Marla one night and threatens to reveal her, but she brushes him off and says she'll reveal his secret as well. He asks Marla to divide the support groups between them because he claims he can't express his feelings in the presence of another faker. They decide to exchange phone numbers after the negotiations in case they want to switch places. The man, who had been presenting himself in each support group under a different alias, fails to sign his name on the card he gave Marla. She shouts at him from across the street, but after a bus passes in front of them, he vanishes. Even though he attends the meetings, the stress of his job keeps getting in the way as he travels to various cities. Tyler Durden, a soap salesman who catches the man's attention by outlining his theory regarding airplane oxygen masks, introduces himself to him on a flight home. Tyler's hypothesis is that the purpose of the masks is to get the passengers high in case of an emergency, making them submissive and accepting of their fate. The man claims that Tyler was the most fascinating person he had ever met while traveling by air. He learns that his briefcase was seized after stepping off the plane as a result of an unexplained vibration. He arrives home to discover that his apartment is on fire. With nowhere to go, he calls Tyler and extends a drink invitation. He explains the fire to Tyler at the bar and laments the destruction of all his belongings. Tyler cautions the man against pursuing material possessions because he will eventually become their owner rather than the other way around. The man discovers that Tyler is not only a soap salesman, but also a theater projectionist and a banquet waiter at a 5-star hotel. However, instead of performing his duties effectively, he inserts a few explicit video frames into the movies and contaminates the restaurant's food by urinating on it. After the drinks, Tyler extends an invitation to stay at his home, but first he demands that the man strike him as hard in the face as possible. The man strikes Tyler in the ear with a hesitant punch. He is knocked to the ground as a result of Tyler's chest punch. They keep fighting even though the man is hurt because he is elated. Tyler and the man leave for home after another round of drinks. The man immediately thinks Tyler is squatting after seeing the house's poor condition when they first arrive. Over the course of the following few nights, Tyler and the man continue to fight outside the bar, drawing the attention of other men. The fights could then be held in the bar's basement as a result of their increasing popularity as participants instead of spectators. Tyler would introduce the Fight Club's rules to the new members each week. The most important Fight Club rule is to never discuss Fight Club. Members, however, consistently violate this rule by inviting extra people to the fights. Marla calls the man one day and inquires as to why he hasn't been to the support group meetings in days. He informs her that he has discovered a brand new group that only accepts male members. Marla admits to emptying a bottle of Xanax but adamantly states that she is not attempting suicide. The man becomes irritated by Marla's voice as she continues to speak and decides to put the phone down without hanging up. Later, the man has a dream in which Marla has a sexual encounter. When he notices Marla moving about the kitchen, he realizes that it wasn't a dream. Marla becomes irate with the man and leaves when he inquires as to what she is doing inside his home. Then Tyler enters the kitchen and informs him that after calling Marla, he decided to go see her to prevent her from overdosing. However, after receiving a tip about Marla's condition, the police quickly show up at her apartment. After treating Marla, Tyler invites her over to his house and they have a sexual encounter. Then, without explaining why, he advises the man not to mention him to Marla. As Marla begins returning to the house frequently to be with Tyler, the man grows angrier with her. The man gets a call from the police one morning informing him that his apartment had been set on fire with a homemade dynamite stick. Tyler takes the man that evening to raid a liposuction clinic's trash can in order to steal the discarded fat that can be used to make soap. Tyler explains how adding a few more chemicals can transform soap into dynamite once they get home. Then, after removing a bottle of lye, he shows the man how powerful it is by pouring some of it on the back of his hand. The man tries to meditate to block out the pain as his skin begins to burn, but Tyler jolts him awake and makes him feel the pain. Finally, Tyler challenges the man to accept that he will eventually pass away and to stop trying to live his life in the same manner as in the past. Then, after showing the man a burn mark on his hand that resembles his own, he washes the chemical off the man's hand with vinegar. The manager confronts the man after discovering a copy of the Fight Club's rules on the copier at the workplace. He threatens the manager by claiming that he might enter the office with an Armalite and shoot everyone who works there. The man and Marla are having a conversation when Marla calls and asks for assistance in feeling for lumps on her breasts. The man wonders why she called him rather than Tyler as he goes to her apartment. Bob informs the man that he is no longer attending the support group meetings because he has discovered something new after the man has left Marla. The man acknowledges that this is the first rule of the Fight Club and informs Bob that he is also a member when Bob asserts that he is not permitted to discuss the new club that he has joined. When the two square off in the club, Bob triumphs by getting the man to submit to his chokehold. When Lou, the owner of the bar, learns about the Fight Club, it is soon in danger. Lou and his bodyguard arrive and ask the members to leave as Tyler is reminding them of the club's rules. Tyler laughs it off as Lou begins to beat him as he lies bleeding on the ground. Tyler catches Lou as soon as he turns his back on him, pinning him to the ground. Until Lou agrees to let the club use the basement, Tyler continues to cough blood all over him. Later, Tyler gives the group a task to pick a fight with a complete stranger and let them win. The man approaches his manager and demands payment before he won't reveal the company's corruption. The manager watches him in disbelief as the man begins beating himself up after the boss fires him. The man recalls the evening of his first altercation with Tyler as he continues to strike himself. If the boss agrees to give him a regular paycheck, he threatens to leave the office forever. Later, the man leaves the office with the manager's promise to send him 48 airline flight coupons and 52 weekly paychecks, enabling the club to host fights every night. Tyler gives the members assignments to vandalize shops, buildings, and billboards shortly after. The man discovers that there are many Fight Club chapters now spread throughout the nation as he and Tyler smash cars on the streets. Later, Tyler enters a convenience store while pulling a gun from the man's backpack. He asks the clerk as they leave through the back door what he wanted to be before working at the store. The cashier, Raymond, claimed that he wanted to be a veterinarian but was unable to complete his education. If Raymond doesn't take any action to advance toward becoming a veterinarian within the next 6 weeks, Tyler threatens to kill him. Tyler tells the man that Raymond will learn to value life more when he wakes up the following morning after Raymond flees. The man one day finds Tyler had constructed bunk beds in their home's basement. Then he finds out that Tyler had also begun taking applications for a covert boot camp where applicants must wait 3 days outside the house without food or shelter. Bob is one of the applicants who soon start to swarm the front of the house. Once inside, they are forced to perform physical labor while Tyler gives a speech about the negative effects of consumerism. Why Tyler started recruiting for the army baffles the man. Later, when he discovered the recruits had burned down several apartments, he was shocked. The city's police commissioner has taken notice of the incident and believes it has something to do with underground fight clubs. The recruits respond that it's a component of Project Mayhem when the man inquires as to why they would carry out such an act, but the rule forbids asking about it. The group sneaks into a business meeting at a hotel by pretending to be waiters in the next phase of the project. The waiters attack the commissioner after he leaves to use the restroom. In the event that the police chief continues the investigation into the fight club, Tyler threatens to castrate him. He goes on to say that people depend on the men who committed the crime to cook their food, drive their cars, haul their trash, etc. They all leave the hotel after the police chief consents to end the investigation. The man has started to feel left out of the group because he doesn't know what their plans are for Project Mayhem. He reacts by savagely beating one of the recruits during a brawl. The man begins berating Tyler for leaving him out of Project Mayhem from the beginning as they are driving home after the fight. The project belongs to the entire club, not just the two of them. Tyler, who is operating the vehicle, informs the man. Tyler scolds the man for holding on to his past life and his uniqueness while driving on the wrong side of the road and letting go of the steering wheel. Tyler tells the man to let go and stop trying to control everything as he tries to take the wheel. They soon collide with another vehicle after the man gives in. Tyler explains to him that they just had a near-life experience as they get out of the car. The man searches their home the next day for Tyler, but he is not there. The recruits are still working on their project's planning despite Tyler's absence. The recruit stops the man from looking at the plans and assures him that everything is in order. Marla stops by the house in the hopes of entering, but she decides to leave when the man informs her that Tyler is not present. Recruits quickly show up at the residence in a panic, reporting that someone has been shot while on assignment. They were instructed to destroy a chain coffee shop and a sizable art exhibit outside of a corporate building. Up until the police showed up and opened fire on them, killing Bob, the mission was going perfectly. The man, who believes the group has gone too far, begins looking for Tyler in the hopes that he will stop the risky project. Tyler's old ticket stubs are used by the man to fly to various cities and visit the establishments where fight clubs first started. After failing at several places, he stumbles upon a bar where he overhears staff members paying tribute to Bob. Although he is unfamiliar with the establishment, the bartender warmly welcomes the man back. The bartender wonders if he is being put to the test when the man asks if he recognizes him. The bartender introduces himself as Tyler Durden to the man after assuring him that he is not being tested. The man is perplexed, so he goes back to his hotel room and calls Marla to find out if they've ever had a sexual relationship. Marla refers to him as Tyler and affirms that they are dating. Tyler enters the room after Marla hangs up, expressing his disappointment with the man for breaking his vow not to bring up the man in conversation with Marla. The man asks Tyler about his circumstances and then quickly remembers some of the things he's done since they first met. Then he understands that Tyler and he are the same person. Thank you for watching. Tyler explains that the man subscribing because while you're here, a way to alter his life. Tyler responds to the man's comment that he has his own jobs by explaining that the man took on additional work next night because he has trouble sleeping. Tyler subsequently informs the man that Marla is a threat to their plans because she is overly knowledgeable. The man soon passes out from exhaustion as they were debating Tyler's risky plans. He rushes out of his room as soon as he wakes up to catch a flight back home. He finds Project Mayhem's plans, which are aimed at a number of financial district buildings. When he gets to the house, he tries to alert the facility's management, but he soon discovers that they have all been compromised by the group. He grabs as many documents as he can carry out of desperation and leaves the house. Marla is later met, and he persuades her to leave the city for her own safety. The man hands himself over to the police and tells them about Project Mayhem after Marla boards a bus to leave the city. He reveals Tyler's desire to bomb crucial buildings in the financial district in order to destroy evidence of credit card debt. The lead detective pays close attention to the plan specifics before leaving the room to double-check some of the details. The three officers who are still present begin praising the man for Project Mayhem after the lead detective leaves the room. They inform him that they must castrate him, though, as he allegedly gave the order for them to take the testicles of anyone who gets in the way of the group's plans, including him. The lead detective knocks on the door and instructs the officers to go to Tyler's house as they are getting ready to cut him. The man successfully escapes the police station by snatching a gun from an officer. He immediately goes to a building on Tyler's list to search for the bomb. He discovers it in the parking garage and makes an attempt to disarm it, reasoning that Tyler must already know how to do it. After he successfully deactivates the bomb, Tyler begins to beat him. However, the monitors for the security cameras show that he is only contending with himself. The man is knocked out when Tyler throws him down the stairs. The man awakens to find Tyler holding a gun to his mouth and himself bound up in a room. The man begs Tyler to scrap his idea, but Tyler is adamant that it must go forward in order to liberate people from consumerism. Tyler reassures him that because the buildings are empty, nobody will perish in the explosions. The man quickly realizes that the gun is actually in his own hands and not Tyler's. He puts the gun in his mouth after telling Tyler that his eyes have been opened. The bullet, however, exits to the side of his face, near the ear. When he pulls the trigger, Tyler collapses to the ground and vanishes with a gaping wound on the back of his head. Marla joins the club members as they soon arrive. Marla should stay with him, the man instructs, and they should wait for him downstairs. Marla begins to reprimand the man for sending a gang after her after they leave, but she is shocked to see the wound on his head and stops. The bombs begin detonating as soon as the man assures her that everything will be all right, sending the surrounding buildings into free fall. The man tells Marla that she met him at a peculiar time in his life as more buildings fall to the ground.